7 over 1. Okay. So I'm going to do 13 times 7 here, 21, 91 over 4. So then I say 4 goes into 91. How many times? We got 2. Oh, I'm going to go down here and solve just a tad down over here. So we have 4 goes into 91 2 times, 11 2 times, 3 left over, so 22 3/4 is how much he ran in one day. Explain how to estimate how far he would run in 11 days. So I would estimate 3 1/4 to 3. So it would be 3 times 11 equals about 33. So about 33 miles. And that would be C. All right, my next question is 3. Is the following equation true? So I'm just going to solve it and see if I get 5/3. (40 over 24). I can actually reduce an improper fraction before I turn it into a mixed number because I'm comparing an improper fraction here. So I can divide these both by 8, okay, and get 5/3. So yes, it is true. The next one, complete the equation. 16 over 1 times 5/8. 16 times 5 is 80 over 8 equals 10. All right, so our answers are this one and this one. And this is why. Because if I was to multiply, I'm going to do this one first, okay? 4 times 6 divided by 7. That is the same as this, okay? And then I would find that my answer would be 3 3/7. 4, if I was to multiply this, it would end up being the same as this because 7 times 1 is 7, okay? The other one that I could multiply by is that it's the same thing. If I flip-flopped 6/7 times 4 over 1, I'm still going to get 6 times 4 over 7, which is the same answer. So it's flip-flopped, but it's the same answer. All right, we're going to look at number 6. Number 6 is Tracy took a test that had 24 questions. She got 5/6 of the 24 correct. How many questions did she answer correctly? Write an equation. So the equation would be 5/6 times 24 equals, we're not sure yet. Okay, we can make that a Q, we can make that a R, we can make that whatever letter that we want it to be. When I multiply it across, it would be 5/6 times 24 over 1. 1/6. 5 times 24 is 120, and that would equal out to be 20 questions. That would be our answer. Jenna ran 2 7/8 kilometers each day for a week, so 7 days equals 1 week. He says how far should she run it all? Do an estimate and then find the actual amount. So our estimate is going to be 2 7/8 times 7, which would be 3 times 7, which would be 21 kilometers is our estimate. I'm going to do the actual, which would be 2 7/8 times 7. I'm going to change this to 7 over 1. This would be 8 times 2 is 16 plus 7 is 23 over 8. Okay, 23 over 7, or 23 times 7 across the board would be 161. If I was to divide that, I would get 20 kilometers with 1 left over. If I turn that into a mixed number. Okay, my next one is Eduardo has a recipe that uses 2/3 cups of flour for each batch. If he makes 4 batches, how many cups of flour will he need? So he's making 4 batches of 2/3. So 4 groups of 2/3. That's how I would set it up. We have 8 thirds. So 3 goes into 8 2 times. With 2 left over, he would need 2 2/3 cups for 4 batches. Then it says how many will he need if he makes 3 more batches. So that would be 7 total, which would be 14 over 3. 3 goes into 14 4 times with 2 left over. So 4 2/3 will be if he needs 7. Okay, my next one, complete the equation and find my answer. All right, 6/7 times 2, okay, fifths, 12 over 35. Can we divide this by anything? No, we cannot. How did I explain how I got my answer? I multiplied the 6 by the 2 and the 7 by the 5. Numerators times numerators, denominators times denominators. All right, number 10, Ted and his friends are rolling out clay for art class. Ted rolled out his clay until it was 2 feet long. Noah rolled out his clay, so it was 3/5 as long as Ted's. So this is Noah, okay? Jenny rolled out her clay until it was 1.5 foot times as long as Ted. How can I tell without completing the multiplication? Oh, wait, no. Miles rolled out his clay that was 5/5 as long as Ted. Well, this is our comparing. So if this is under a whole number, it's going to be smaller than the 2. If it's under 1. If it's over 1, it's going to be bigger than the 2. If it's a number over a number, it's 1, it's going to be 2. So Jenny is going to be more because she is multiplying the 2 with a number that's more than 1. Whose clay is going to be shorter than Ted's? It's going to be Noah's. And that is because we're multiplying it by a fraction. Multiplying by a fraction, so it's only going to be a fraction of the piece. Okay, our last part is whose clay is the same lengths. It's going to be Miles because 5/5 equals 1 and 2 times 1 equals 2. Okay. Number 11. Here's number 11 right here. Okay. Find the product of 7/8 times 9/10, then write another product with the same answer. So you can come up with as many different products as you want that would add up or multiply to be 7 times 9 would be 63. Okay, that would be 63/80ths. So there's a bunch of different ones that you could do to multiply together to be 63/80ths. Could have been, as long as your numerator is multiplied together to be 63 and your denominator is multiplied together to be 80, it's correct. Okay. Which of the following is equal to 4/7 times 11/15? Now, we learn that you can set it up like this to get your numerators times your numerators and your denominators times your denominators. So I'm going to eliminate anything that's not set up like this. So I can do it without even answering the question. That's how it would be set up. All right. Our next one is members of a landscaping company build a retaining wall. They use the brick of the map to make the top of the 2/3 of the wall. Okay. What is the height of the brick portion of the wall? So the brick portion is 2/3 of the entire wall is 2 3/4. Okay. So what I would multiply is 2/3 times 2 3/4, which would be 4 times 2 is 8, 11/4, which would be 22/12, which I can make 1. If I do 12 into 22, 1, and that would be 10. So 1 and 10/12, or 1 and 5/6. Okay, that would be right here because this is 2/3 of the total. Estimate the whole area would be 2 3/4 times 8.5. I would estimate 3 times 9 would be 27 feet squared. My last one, what is the area of the whole retaining wall? So they want us to solve it. Equals area, okay? And then we have to compare it to our estimate. So this would be turned into 11/4. This would be turned into 17/2. I'm going to multiply 11 times 17. (187/8). That's 3/24. That's 23 3/8, which would be estimated to be about 24. So that's close. We rounded up here, and we rounded up here. So I'm actually thinking that my answer is pretty reasonable because it's close to 27. All right, our next question. Tyler's family rented 15 DVDs last month. Okay. Of the 15 DVDs, 1/5 were documentaries. How many of the movies were documentaries? So 1/5 of 15 would be 3. Of the 15 DVDs, 3/5 were comedies. How many were comedies? So you could have used this model, but I'm not using the model right now. This would be 45 divided by 5, which is 9. So 9 of them are comedies. 3 of them were documentaries. What relationship do you notice between the number of comedies and the number of documentaries? So the number of comedies and the number of documentaries is that there are 3 times more comedies than documentaries. Okay. The next one is 15. Kristen and Nico bought a canvas for their art studio. All right, I'm just making sure we can see it. Estimate the area of their canvas, write an equation. So we're going to want to do 2.5 plus 3 1/4. We'd round that to 3 and round that to 3. It would be about 6 feet squared. Okay. The next one is find the actual area, 2.5 times 3 1/4. That would be 5/2 times 13/4. This would be 65/8. Goes in 8/64. So 8 1/8 feet squared is our answer. Compare your answer. It is reasonable. Yes, it is reasonable. Because 8 1/4 is close to 6. Okay, and those are our questions for our review.